Hello there. Do you know meaning of these terms or even have heard some of these? Ever get the feeling your younger sibling is from another planet or that your parents speak a different language than you? Don't worry, it's not just you. Welcome to the wild world of the generation gap where boomers still call the internet the information superhighway. Generation X remembers dial-up modems. This is what we are looking at today. Generation Y or millennials and mainly Generation Z, which perhaps practically wear goggles to sleep. We are diving headfirst into the fascinating depths of generational differences. We will crack the code on savvy hustle of millennials, Generation Z's unique qualities, choices, and yes, even their quirks. The expansion of internet and leaps caused by the digital revolution have given them very different experiences than we have. If we add the influence of parents, society, and culture from different generations, we have a lot of room to talk for their attitudes and behavior. We shall share tips on navigating family dinners without starting World War III, decode communication styles across generations, and we should discover the magic that happens when different perspectives come together. Let's take a look on some ways these generations compare and differ. First of all, Generation Z processes information faster than any other generation, including millennials. They live in a high tech world of constant innovation, and having grown up using apps like Vine, Snapchat, Shorts, Reels, and I don't know how many are these, they likely have shorter attention spans than millennials. A survey found that while only 4% of millennials and older think 13 is the right age to own a smartphone, but on the other hand, up to 18% of Generation Zers think it's the right age. Multitasking, a short attention span, isn't always a disadvantage. And what Generation Z lacks in focus, it makes up for in multitasking. Generation Z can do homework on a computer and research on a tablet, all while taking notes. And in the evening, they often sit in front of telly and watch a movie, and at the same time, they can chat with the friends on Facebook, on the phone, or a laptop. 71% of Generation Z say they follow the phrase, if you want it done right, then do it yourself. DIY. Generation Z tends to be more competitive and embrace to do it yourself mentality in their personal or professional pursuits. And when it comes to workspace, 69% of theirs would rather have their own workspace than share it with others. While boomers X and Ys would prefer a collaborative work environment where they can collaborate with their colleagues. According to PEW research, in 1995, only 14% of American adults had access to the internet. But by 2014, 87% had access to the internet. Millennials have seen firsthand how social media has changed the way we communicate. They are pioneers of digital age, witnessing the birth of smartphones, instant messaging, MIRC, and internet search capabilities. Generation Z was born into this technological society and era. So they have a very different perspective. 40% of Gen Zs say reliable Wi Fi is more important than a reliable bathroom. All this technology has also affected how these generations communicate differently, with 74% of Gen Zers say they prefer face to face interactions with coworkers. As we just mentioned, millennials are pioneering many digital things communication tools that are revolutionizing the way we do business, but with the Gen Z's preference for a more personal approach, they may be the perfect generation to strike the right balance between online and workplace communication. A 2016 survey by Lincoln Financial Group reports that Generation Z is much more optimistic than millennials. 50% of Gen Zers say America is headed in the right direction, compared to 42% millennials. 64% Gen Zers started researching or telling others about their financial future by the age of 13. And after starting these conversations, 95% of financial planners are generally optimistic about their future. Accenture research shows that Gen Z loves technology enabled fast shopping experiences like 1 hour delivery, activated shopping, and in store kiosks. Brands are less important, and they are happy to switch to a retailer that offers these services better. And they see shopping as a social experience. They want to hear from friends and get their opinions on products. They can be unforgiving when leaving reviews for retailers and are also twice as likely to consult YouTube as millennials before making a purchase. According to research by Sparks and Honey, 75% of Gen Z say there are ways to get a good education other than traditional way of going to college. And Gen Z has the insight to see how things turned out for their peers. Many millennials have now large student debt and wonder if it was worth it, with 44% of recent college graduates working in jobs that don't require a degree. Boomers and Ys tend to be more tolerant than Gen Zs because they have experienced more situations in their lives where things can go wrong. For Gen Z, it's all about getting the job done. And in case of any problem, they start looking somewhere else. For example, if Gen Zs experience technical problems while shopping online, they are unlikely to visit the store again, while millennials and others are more lenient and likely to give the store another chance. Gen Z is more likely to browse TikTok or YouTube, Reels, Shorts than sit in a movie theater. 63% of them say they would rather see real people than celebrities in their ads. So it's pretty clear that this video is likely to be watched by large percentage of Gen Z viewers. Lazy, entitled, stupid, selfish, crazy, lost, clueless, spoiled, blah blah blah. This is how millennials and Generation Z complain they are routinely described, according to New York University psychologist Carla Vermeulen, author of Generation Disaster Coming of Age After 9/11. Who can blame them for being angry? One of the quotes I used was someone who said to me, I feel like our generation was built for parties we couldn't even attend. So that's really one of the main source of anger against the older generations, especially the boomers. Younger generations have been raised to believe that their leaders are lying about everything, that the entire financial system was there to save the big banks when they collapsed the economy, that the endless war is a natural state of things, and that they are about to be blown up by terrorists or shot down during school at any moment. They are worried that the world will end in 12 years if we don't address the climate change, and that's their biggest worry. They say they don't want to have children because they don't want to leave them this planet that they have inherited. I think it is so hard for them to deal with it because they feel like there is so little they can do about it. So, what are the solutions now? We must find ways to speak more productively across the generation. We need more fact-based debates that take into account enormous social, economical, and environmental advances that we are either take for granted or ignored by politicians and the press because it doesn't fit their agenda and doesn't get them some ads or votes. Extreme poverty has been reduced from 94% to 10% in the last 2 centuries. Education and literacy have soared. Racism, sexism, and homophobia have all declined. Global life expectancy is increasing and democracy is on rise. The 2018 UN climate report that says the world would end in 12 years gets oversimplified to 12 years left. It doesn't really say anything like that. Vermelin says an important starting point is respect. For parents, I would say really listen to them. Many of them are delightful, creative, and thoughtful. They are much more experienced than I was at their age because they have had all this access to all these resources, all of which are now literally at their fingertips, and take their concerns seriously because they apply in many ways. There is no doubt that millennials and Gen Zers are facing unique problems that they didn't cause, but that has been true for every other generation. We have just lost the ability to talk to each other and listen to viewpoints, which hasn't completely disappeared, but is challenging to listen to viewpoints that conflict with ours and try to understand why people hold those viewpoints. 70% of Americans in their 30s are better off than their parents at the same age. Why do their parents or grandparents have such negative reactions to generational disaster? Because you don't understand them any more than they understand you, but you can probably try. Every generation fights for its place in the world. At the end, we really should encourage respectful conversations about each other's values, beliefs, focusing on understanding rather than judgment. Recognize that not every value will align perfectly and learn to appreciate the diversity of perspectives. Identify common grounds such as importance of family, community, or helping each other. That's all for Generational Gap today. Thank you very much.